dominate that space. So we need to just do what we've done, which is prepare, make sure we're where we need to be when we need to be there. Those are going to be the most important things in a week that can be challenging. So we just need to focus on this week because that's the only thing that matters.
I'll put Joshua Farmer. It's a great story to begin with. What's his development been like to watch?
Yeah, I think just consistent improvement, right, in his fundamentals, trying to find details to help him play faster. You know, I think a lot of young players early on in the process, they see everything, which you never want to see too much. So I think he's starting now to trust his technique. Right, there's some details and techniques that we talk about that are helping him be able to play faster. So that's the exciting thing with all these guys, and it's not just him. I think every guy in that room, improvement is what all we talk about. Like that's everyone in that room has room to improve, and they should.
And lastly, for me, is you see, if you watch from training camp on every practice, and then games now, I think the viewers start to see Durden show up. It keeps showing up. Is he kind of like that? Does he make that impression on you as well? What's been his key to really coming up with some good plays when you need it?
Yeah. The thing with Corey, I think he's been around the league for a while now, been on multiple teams, but he showed up here and he earned a job. That's what it was, and it wasn't through talking about anything. It was just through the way he practiced, right? The techniques that we talk about, the fundamentals, playing with effort. And then when we asked him to do it in a game, he did. So he earned more opportunities. That's the thing. You know, you're going to get what you earn. So he's earned more opportunities, and as long as he keeps playing the way that we need him to as a team, he'll keep earning more ops.
I remember one more. What's the Barmore motor like for you?
Motor?
He seems like
he's running 100 miles.
Sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love coaching him. I'm excited for him. And I think he's been an extremely valuable player to the defense. Like the things that he does don't always show up in the stat columns, right? But he makes plays, right? That don't always. They may not be tackles, but he makes plays for the defense, which is important.
A few more questions. I'm done. Thanks, John.
Try to pound the rock, hit some shot plays or some move the quarterback plays, quick game, and then obviously create field position in the special teams for their defense and playing lights out. But kind of similar to us in terms of want to make it a smash mouth style of game and see who comes out in fourth quarter.
Marcus Jones, it seems like he's really excelling this slot. Just what have you seen from him in his defensive play?
Consistency every day. He comes out, he works hard, he's very active in the meeting room. He's got good perspective, good instinct, good savvy, and he's made a lot of plays that have come his way. You know, and that's on the defensive side, and the special teams has some things that done some good things there. But I see consistency every day. You know, he just comes to work, does his job, and keeps it moving.
How fun of a group has this been for you? Just Gonzo, Carlton Davis, some good cornerbacks.
Yeah, for sure. There's guys that for me, it's been a lot of learning them as they're probably learning me. But watching them go out and compete is what's the most fun. Like, obviously, we're in the tenseness of the game to where it's, you want to get the outcome that you desire, but just watching the way that they go compete, the way they go about their business has been, like you said, it's been fun.
Yeah. After Gonzo missed so much time, just where do you feel he is, at this point?
It to me feels like he's starting to settle into having his game legs where he's out. I know the first game, talked to him afterwards, and he was just like, I gotta get my legs back. And he's like, well, that's to be expected, but he's a competitive guy, and each day when he goes about his business, he doesn't say much and he's not going to make a big scene, but he shows up when he needs to show up. And but yeah, it's fun to be able to coach those guys and to continue to build our relationship.
I know it's a game plan decision week to week, but the rate of man coverage has gone down the last 3 weeks, and I know part that's probably performance, but also just scheme. Like what do you see, or what's behind that?
Well, for one, I see us as a defensive staff putting together a plan we feel like it's going to help us win the game. And then the other part of it is in zone coverage, at the end of the day, it becomes man coverage. There's a lot of it that becomes that. But it's, you see some of that, and there's levels to it where you put a lot of it on film, so you start to see some of the beaters for that, and you try to put guys in position in that way. But for the most part, we watch the opponent and we say, is man coverage the best way to defend them, try to keep yards and points down? or his own coverage, and then we put the plan together. In the past few weeks, it's been that it's kind of having some zone eyes vision on the quarterback, guys that can extend plays and scramble, and that's been helpful for us. But end of the day, we just want to win, and if that means man, we'll play man. If that means zone, we'll play zone.
Yeah. Asked Coach Graves yesterday about Terrell, because we haven't talked to him or seen him recently, and he said he's in good spirits and he's around in meetings. What's that mean for you personally, just for a guy who's going through what he is, to still be in those meetings, and with the team?
Yeah, I hate it for him because I know that he's got to be carrying a lot more than what he lets on. But it is inspiring to see, knowing what he's dealing with and what he's carrying, that he's still here, joking, laughing, carrying, because it makes me, it reminds me to not feel sorry for myself, because here's a guy that's coming in, and not only is he enjoying himself, he's bringing life and spirit when he's in here, and I know that he doesn't feel like doing that, but he is anyways, and that means a lot. Like I said, it inspires me.
Heard Marcus is getting some gifts too with the takeaways.
Yeah, he's got a good lineup of gifts.
Is that new this year? Do you know?
To my knowledge, it is. We didn't in Tennessee, unless there was something I didn't know, but it wasn't like a whole unit-wide thing. I think in Detroit maybe they had some stuff like that, but in my experience with this staff, it is new, but it's encouraging for guys to want to go take the ball away.
Yeah, it's cool. I like hearing about it, because again, we obviously cover everything around the team,
right?
But on a human level, stuff like that, I think is most important.
For
so
sure.
It's cool. Great to hear.
Yeah,
appreciate you taking
all
the
right.
time.
Yes, sir.
Just touched. I'm not sure. You start rolling on TV you want. Start off with, I know we talked about this last week too, but just some of the slow starts on defense. How do you guys prevent that against a team like the Browns?
Yeah, I'd say we're trying everything possible. There's no stone going unturned, or we just got to come out with some better energy, and then hopefully that translates to the execution. And we're trying everything possible in practice right now to kind of simulate that.
Jack Gibbons was saying that sometimes it takes a play for you guys to kind of round back into shape, and that a big play would be helpful early. Can you prepare for that? How do you practice that?
No, I mean, it's really like what Gibby's trying to say is like somebody's just got to make the first play and get your juice going. And, it's like I said, it's the guys come out with some energy, mastering the details, the techniques, the fundamentals, and someone trying to go make that first play.
When it comes to the starts, the games, like, I know you're never trying to give up yards, but like, is there any like sort of letting the game declare and see what they're trying to do to you guys?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think that's just all. It might seem like coincidence, something like that. We're trying not just to give up yards like that. I don't. That's nothing on purpose or anything like that.
No, I didn't think it was on purpose.
No.
I was just wondering if obviously you guys are making adjustments once you get into the game.
Yeah,
and the defense is settled
down.
So.
Well, yeah. When it's settling down, it's okay. Like I kind of said last week. Sometimes you're like, hey, we gotta step it up. All right, and the offense is firing off early, and we gotta do it for them now. We gotta pull our part. I think it's them coming together, and it's a testament to the players and the coaches on the sideline, how we communicate, player to player, coach to coach, coach to player, that we're pretty in tune on the sideline.
Obviously, you guys have been really stout against the run so far. What's been the biggest factor in that?
I think, there's a lot of things. One, I think it's the culture that Braves has built. Two, I think it's a commitment, because it takes all 11 in the run game. It takes all 11 in everything, but, corners showing up to tackle, building a wall, setting an edge, building a wall, swarming. And it's just that commitment to that play style and then working with each other.
Is there any difference preparing for a rookie quarterback as opposed to someone who's been around the block?
I would say with veteran quarterbacks, you got to be prepared for, how well they know the game. I wouldn't say you prepare for a rookie differently. But definitely, when you go against like an Aaron Rodgers versus a rookie, you might have to have some extra layers to some stuff for an Aaron Rodgers versus the rookie. I don't know if you go in game planning completely different for it, But yeah, you definitely want to take advantage a little bit of the inexperience.
Does that mean more disguise or more ways to try and get him to hesitate, pause, and wonder what the heck he's seeing?
Yeah, you do try to confuse a rookie quarterback as much as possible. You try to do that with everybody. There's some things that you can definitely get away with a rookie quarterback. You might not be able to get away with the 15-year vet. But yeah, those are good points.
When it comes to just the man coverage stuff, has some good reps, not so good reps. Just what are you kind of seeing right now on film with how you guys are manning up right now?
Yeah, I mean, I have no concern with our man coverage. I think, just like I said at the run game, it takes 11 people. You know, kind of like how Braves talked about with ball security and offense. Like, it's not just the one guy. It's, protecting the guy along with the ball. Same thing with man coverage. Like, it takes the front and the back end. The front can't let the routes develop so long where you got to cover that long. And then the coverage has to be tight in their man to let the front eat. You know what I mean? So it works hand in hand. I mean, some plays, and there's some scheme plays that can get you. Okay, but yeah, I got no issues with where we're headed with our man. We can always be better, our details, our techniques, our fundamentals. But I got no concerns with that at all.
Thank you.
Really good. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Finishing plays, all that. Yeah, he's a good one.
We've seen Keon kind of
Mm-hmm.
ride the roller coaster a little bit this
Yeah.
year, maybe to kind of at least
Sure.
just from the outside. I know he's dealt with some health stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I know some guys, the scheme, trying to pick up some nuances on the new scheme has been a challenge. But from your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
what has he kind of gone through this year, and kind of
Sure.
help us understand from the outside?
Yeah, I think you hit on it. I think the 3 games he's missed. He's had some health stuff, new position. It's just continual learning and continue just getting in a rhythm. It's tough when you miss those amount of games and practices and stuff like that. And for him, it's just to continue and to learn the position and stay healthy and some things you just can't control. And just try to stay positive and just work through those things. But you're exactly right.
I spoke to Mike Vrabel about the man coverage use has kind of gone down. I know that's not necessarily your department, but he said that the pass rush was part of that. So I'm just curious, what have you seen maybe in those instances? How could the group be better, and maybe where have they shown some promise?
You talking about the pass rush?
Yes, sir.
We can always get better. There's a lot of things that we can get better, setting up our moves to what kind of block are they giving us? Are they setting vertical? Some of these tackles are doing a better job I've seen in the past of mixing up their sets, being better in our games. Our pass rush games when we need to pick and penetrate, better our get-offs. There's a lot of things that we can continue to improve on. Our hands, our hands can sloppy at times, but how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Just things like that, staying within the rush plan. I think these guys are doing a lot of good things, but there's still a lot of things we can continue to get better at.
You guys added Caleb Murphy this week. Just
Mm-hmm.
what do you like of him on the edge?
Yeah, it's been early. I like I flicked on his stuff the other night that he's played reps. You can tell he's a smart player. His football IQ, he's always in the right place. He's got a nice little cross chop that I saw on film and a couple times out here. Picks up things quick. It's tough coming right in and learning a whole package, and you've got 5 or 6 different personnel packages and finding a spot for him. But just notice how quick he picks it up. Saw a couple plays today. We're in pads. It's nice to see somebody. Yesterday not being in pads, but seeing somebody got through his body around a little bit. So that was good to see. But just getting familiar with him, kind of really figure out what his style is and how he likes to rush, and then how can we build off of that. You talk about our pass rush and our pass rush plan, sticking with it. We've got these moves, but how we attack this tackle this week versus what he does with his hands and how he sits back. They're just different things that we can build off of what he does.
You followed his journey at all? Like, when you claim a guy like that, you see that, like, he was D2, I think it was Ferris State, had like 25 and a half sacks there.
Sacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you look into that stuff or anything like that when you?
I do when he first gets here. I like to read because I've watched so many guys in the off seasons every year and during the draft. I try to watch every edge guy if I can. Find a guy like Ponder or something. So I have to go back, but I did. I would read. I was like, gosh Mike, over here. You know, so obviously, I don't care where you go, you get that many sacks. You know, that says something. You know, because a lot of pass rush is natural. You can teach them all this stuff, but there's these instincts that just come with it as well. It helps a lot.
Mike Vrabel was saying that he'd like to see some more pressure early in the game on early downs. How do you generate that?
You know, the thing with early downs and in these play passes that we get, usually it's block it up. You know, you got two tight ends. You might be in a crease alignment with two tight ends. You know, it could be a tackle. I mean, you're playing run. He's giving you a run stance, and you get into it. Is just converting as fast as possible, getting our hips around, getting up the field, and getting them off of us. You know, if it's a tight end, you won't get more minuses in a box if you get blocked by tight end on a play pass. But it's just recognizing it as fast as possible and getting up the field and getting your hips to the quarterback and going. But you know, that's kind of the thing now. If the quarterback's not getting rid of it early on third downs, it's like first, second down, it's like a lot of play passes and stuff. You know, like I said last week, we're not going to be a team that's just going to, you know, guess and be up the field on a run and create run creases and stuff like that. But that's a main thing we do have to get better at and working. Yeah, feeling leverage and getting them lean one way, getting the hands off. And there's a lot of stuff that we got to get better at with that. But it's definitely a thing that's showing up.
I know you're not game planning for him this week, but as a position coach, what's your level of appreciation for a guy like Myles Garrett?
Just because he's a big athletic human being. I mean, I saw one the other day, he was on field goal blocking, he jumped over a freaking guy, I mean, flat-footed, like, who does that? But just how big and athletic, and I love to watch him rush when he works his edge stuff. I mean, he's so big and athletic and how he can bend, and you just see that natural bend, and he's tough to block. I mean, there's just not a lot of human beings on this earth that can bend like that at that speed and at that size, and he's violent. You know, I mean, I think if God created a pass rusher, he'd probably mold him into Myles Garrett. You know, but I love watching. You know, every week you talk about, you know, PFF. I go through all those guys. You know, because I think there's a lot of great things you can learn from all of them. No matter who the rusher is, there's always some element. It's always the same with every rush. You know, how tight he is to the blocker on his chop and lean or his rips, his speed rips. You know, there's not a lot of space for the lineman to recover. And, you know, if it's a guy's long arm or stab and swipe to scissors, it's all, whatever you do, it has some elements the same. So I like watching all these guys and see why they were, you know, TJ Watt got 11 pressures. What was he doing? You know, is it a tackle set that we might see or something that might be a little bit different, you know? But, yeah, he's a fun one to watch. He really is.
I apologize if you were asked this, but at practice today, I saw you working with Caleb, and it looked like you were roughhousing him at one point. Like,
oh yeah,
what was that? It was
it's
so
a
hard.
Superstitious thing. Anybody new to the room. So what I do is I get this crash mat out and act like we're doing this tackle drill. So we're going to work on our wrap and roll, and you know, Casey actually had a miss wrap and roll against Carolina. He went high and rolled off the back. You guys remember that, but. So I have a couple guys do it first, and then Caleb got up and he got rep. I said, it just doesn't look right. Let me kind of show you. Get right here, and I just form tackle him, and then just start beating the heck out of him. And he's just looking at me like, "What the hell?" And everybody's laughs like, "Welcome to the room. You're our room now." And so it caught him up. It does. I got Ponder last year. I get everybody. I've been doing it ever since New York back in the day.
Mike, it was unbelievable. I'm videoing it. And I'm like, what is he doing? And I'm like,
turned into HR, he's beating up players.
And I was like, oh, I'm so happy we get to talk to him today, because that's one you don't want to put the video out with.
Yeah, make sure.
Because I'm like, is he like joking? I'm like,
I was being you messed it up so bad. The best is when you see their face and you're looking down and they're just like looking at you. What the heck am I at? You always just like these guys. You know, we work hard and we study hard, but have fun too and enjoy it. And so it maybe helps him loosen up in the room, ask a couple questions, and realize that this is just a game. You know, don't ever doubt yourself. Don't let the devil put doubt in your heart. And the only way we can all learn is we all talk. Same thing with me as coaches. I want these guys to talk and tell me what their plan is, and you know, and see things. Harold caught a thing last week on film. It was like, great. I can't see everything. I can't watch. I tried to, but I can't. You know, and so he's like, Coach, think about this. And they showed this, and I was like, let me go back and see if that verifies and do it. So that's the part of the atmosphere that I want in the room. I want everybody to be in this together. It's never about the coach. It's never about the player. The best of guys I ever got to work with was we're all like this, and maybe that helps them loosen up a little bit.
I know this
He probably
gets.
thinks I'm crazy.
Maybe that's a good thing. I know this gets downplayed a lot, but Vrabel worked with their offense last year, worked with their offensive line. How does that help? How much does that help?
Oh, absolutely. It just not with the offensive line, that as well, but just with the scheme and what they're thinking and down and distance and situational football and you know, just today before practice he came in, we were just talking about a certain situation and what he thought about this and if this could come up. And so, man, that is a huge benefit of him being there for a year and it always is. I mean, for me, he played this position, you know, OLB, and so I bounced a lot of things off of him and just his knowledge of football.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
so much,
See ya.